if we have frequency bands that are really flash line sequences, and we have sub-frequency bands, they would be little flash sequences that are going on within the big flash sequence. These are going to be important when we start to understand the structure of dimensions, because dimensions are composed of frequency bands, which are flash line sequences, and sub-frequency bands, which are smaller flash line sequences that are within the bigger one. We're dealing with different pulsations of flashing on and off of lights. It's the easiest way to look at it. Okay, now, the frequency, or the flash line rhythm of a dimension, is determined by the vibratory oscillation rate of Partakai units. This one had me going crazy for a while. Now, does everybody think, I'm just curious of how many people were coming from the same place I was before I learned something about it. Are vibration and oscillation the same thing? Do they mean the same thing? Does anybody here know the difference? I know you do. You were there too in New York. Like you're an electronics person. And most people that have studied, a little bit more of physics or electronics have a clue. But even the definitions that they're using in physics right now do not take it back to what's happening with the Partakai that creates things, okay? When they used to tell me, well, we got to raise frequency of the body. Raise frequency. So, raise frequency, raise vibration, right? No. Lower vibration. That needs to... But, raise frequency, lower vibration, I'm confused.
Can I give them a clue?
I don't know, go ahead.
What's the difference between AM radio and FM radio?
Now that wouldn't help me because I don't know the difference between AM and FM radio, except they come in on different places.
AM is amplitude modulation.
Okay.
And FM is frequency modulation. The wheeling.
Right. But it still doesn't tell the difference between this, which would be oscillation, and vibration. The way these guys explain it, I don't even think is in the physics books yet. Where we go back to Partakai. This is why it's not in the physics books yet. They haven't gone back to Partakai. It had me, it had me totally confused because I was getting dyslexic on it. All right, raise frequency, lower vibration, raise oscillation. I'm going crazy. What are you talking about? Are we raising frequency? Are we lowering frequency? Are we raising vibration or lowering it? Tell me what we're supposed to be doing with our bodies. Because they were teaching you, raise frequency, and I had assumed that meant we had to raise our vibration. And that's not the way it works. Vibration and oscillation are two different things in relation to Partakai units. When you have your little flames going on and off, or your little light bulbs, vibration is the amount of energy held within one of them. That would be the vibration. And the greater amount of energy that's held within a Partakai unit would be the greater its vibration. Oscillation is the amount of energy expended from a Partakai unit. It's the outside movement, where the vibration is the inside movement, and they're directly proportional to each other. As you have energy inside, you have less on the outside, so you have a higher vibration and less oscillation. But as you expend more energy from a Partakai unit, you have less energy inside of it now, so the vibration goes down, but you have more energy outside, so the oscillation goes up. And where this applies to understanding what we're doing with the frequencies of our bodies, I'm going to show you a chart in a little while that breaks down what exactly each side does. Is when you raise vibration, there's a whole set of changes that happen, from changes in the wavelength of things, to changes in the particle spin, to how electrons spin around the nucleus, that changes the density levels of the body. So this was key, understanding that vibration and oscillation are actually opposites. They're phases of the same thing, of holding and expending energy. Expending energy would be expanding, and pulling it back into the Partakai would be contracting. So it's basic expansion and contraction. Expansion, oscillation, contraction, vibration. And the objective to getting your frequency up and your matter density less is to get your vibration down, your oscillation rate up, which makes you more electrical and less magnetic, and it makes the electrons around your nucleus spin slower, which creates less and less matter density. Even the scientists know that part. They know that the faster the electrons spin around the nucleus, the tighter, more compacted, more dense the substance will be. So as you loosen up the electron spin, which means lowering the vibration and accelerating the oscillation, you are de-densifying particle matter. So it's a fascinating thing here, and I don't think there's any healing system that's teaching this right now. So you understand the difference. A lot of people that I've met that do different types of healing, Just say, well, vibration, oscillation, same thing. And I thought so too, but it's not. So that's an important difference to note when we're doing it. Okay, what's the next one I had on there?
Sure.
Okay, good. Yeah, this one. I love this chart. This is what I want the selected making. Okay. Here's what happens. If we have the lower vibration, we have the higher oscillation. If it's an expanding, such as expanding universes, that tells us something about expanding and contracting universes from the astronomical scientific perspective. They will be higher frequency. They will have more frequency of flash rates. Okay, higher frequency, faster flash rates, which expends more energy, which expands it, which lowers the vibration. So they're all connected to each other. What that creates is a shorter wavelength. Now, we know like the color spectrum. Red has, I think, the longest wavelength. That's how they do that. And then it goes up to like the violet spectrum, the shorter wavelengths. So as you go up in the dimensional scale, you're going into shorter wavelengths. You're going into slower electron spin around the nucleus, particles. You're going to less density and into more electricity. That is as you go up the dimensional scale. As you come down, you're going into a higher vibration, a lower oscillation rate, into contracting, into lower frequency, longer wavelength, faster electron spin, more density, and more magnetic. This is the process by which energy changes form. It always remains what it is. This is how, by changing wavelength, density level, electron spin, frequency, oscillation, and vibration rate, you change your orientation within the dimensional scale. A lot of people say if they go get visitors or something from elsewhere, they come in and they look like ghosts. Just the fact that they look etheric is telling you something about the wavelength they're made out of, because they're less dense. That would mean they had a slower electron spin than you. For you to see them as less dense, they'd be of a higher frequency. Their particles would be more expansive than yours are. They would be higher oscillation and lower vibration. So if you can understand these basic relationships, there's a lot of things you can look at in reality. And eventually there'll be temperature charts and things like that go with this too, because this can be translated into hot and cold and those kind of things. And they haven't even given me those breakdowns, but it goes right into those levels as well, which gets into like higher levels of science, where if you're cold, what you need to do with your body to make it warm again, these kind of things. So this isn't taught in level 1 because it gets really complicated into some things, but this is very important basic stuff to understand.